What's good, everybody? Israel, and I'll come back and show another video. So this video, I wanted to talk about the experiences in life and to explain to you guys why the experiences in life are within, that they happen within you and they're not actually outside of you. Now, when I use the word experience, right, like the experiences in life, I'm effectively referring to your interpretation of the event, of what happened, right? Because what you understand is events just are. Events are not good or bad, they just are. It's just how we perceive the event is what makes the event what it is in our life, right? Because it's how we interpret it, right? You've probably heard the saying that there's multiple different truths, right? That there's never actually a complete truth because everyone has their own interpretation of the truth itself, right? Of what happened. And it's sort of like a similar idea here, right? Experiences, how you interpret the events of your life, right? It all depends on how you interpret it. And that interpretation is from within, it's not from outside. Now, of course, I understand that the events of your life that happen, that is outside of you, right? Because events that happen can be activities, it can be, events that happen with other people, etc., right? So I understand that happens outside of you. But the experience itself, how you interpret it, is what happens from within. And I'll highlight this with an example that I've shared many times on this channel, right? It's the roller coaster example. You can have two people that are sitting side by side, right? Riding the same roller coaster, and they'll experience the same exact roller coaster, right? The same exact loop around the track if it goes around once, two, three times, however many times. And both of these people can exit the roller coaster and have two drastically different experiences from the roller coaster, right? From what happened. So in that case, right, one person can leave laughing, excited, being filled with so much joy and energy, right? They can be filled with adrenaline, right? The juices could be flowing for this person. They could have had a blast and immediately want to run back online to get on the roller coaster again. And then the other person, right, person B that sat next to person A, person B could have been super scared. They could have been so anxious. They could have been, just fearing for their life, right? Just worried the entire time. Any negative emotion you could think of, right? That person is experiencing that. That shows you, that's proof that experiences are within, because, right, in majority of roller coasters, right, are rather safe. I like to think they're safe, right? That's why amusement parks exist, right? So it's like pretty much everything's gonna be fine being on the roller coaster, except one person B was extremely fearful the entire time. They were worried, they were scared, right? That is a normal reaction for a lot of people on roller coasters. So even though two people went through the same exact sequence of events, there were two drastically different experiences across the board, right? So this shows you that, and it's the same idea with how people navigate through life, right? It's like the same exact event can happen in life. It doesn't have to be the roller coaster, right? Roller coaster example is just one example, but there's many other examples of events happening in life where two people can have drastically different interpretations or experiences of what happened. So this lets you know that experiences are from within. So understanding that, you can work that to your benefit, right? You can focus on experiencing the good out of every situation, right? Because clearly in this situation, of course, someone felt negative emotion, but that same person that felt negative emotion could also experience positive emotion, right? The person that experienced negative emotion was fearful because they felt unsafe and thought something bad was going to happen to them. If they approached it with the mentality that everything's safe and this is going to be so much fun and a complete thrill, right, then that person that experienced negative emotion from the roller coaster could have experienced a positive emotion as well, right? It's possible. So you need to remember this. And this video, I want to highlight another key component right here, right? So if we look at person A, the person who was happy, who had a blast on that roller coaster, right? They experienced they had a positive experience from the roller coaster. That positive experience they had, if they were to maintain that positive experience for the remainder of their life, the rest of their life will inevitably be a positive experience. Why? Because They're constantly feeling positive emotion. They're happy. They're smiling, right? Things are going well for them. And so the rest of their life is going to unfold matching that same energy. Now, on the flip side, person B who experienced that negative emotion, that fear, that worry, that concern, that anxiety on the roller coaster, if that person were to maintain that negative feeling for the remainder of their life, the rest of their life will be filled with negative experiences. And now I'm going to explain to you why, right? The reason for this, and let's think about this for a second, right? The reason for this is because when you're experiencing the negative emotion, you're attracting negative events into your life, right? If you were to continue experiencing negative emotion for the remainder of your life, right, then it shouldn't be a surprise of negative events unfolding in the sake of, for example, your health, right? You will experience deteriorating health. And the reason for this is because, and you've experienced this in your life as well, right? There were likely instances where you may have experienced depression or sadness, right? Say, for example, a bad event happened, right? And you felt like you were just powerless, and it basically had you feeling feelings of extreme sadness and even depression, right? And it led to you crying, right? If you cry a lot, because people who are depressed generally cry, and for some people they cry a lot, right? Normally when people cry, you feel weak. Your body just feels weak. Your body feels tired. Your body feels exhausted. And then usually in those moments when your body feeling weak and exhausted, it's no surprise that it typically follows sickness. That's why it's no surprise for people who are sad or depressed will generally get more sick more often, right? The same idea with these same people, right? It's also no surprise that they also begin experiencing more diseases in their life, because if you look at the word disease and you hyphenate the two, right, is dis-ease, right? This in standard in English, right, usually like the dis, right, when that is the start of a word, that usually means not, right? So dis-ease means not ease. Pretty much it translates to not ease. So a disease means that your body is not at ease, right? So that's what disease is, right? Dis-ease. So it's the idea, right? You're seeing how it is all correlated, right? How your emotions, because you begin feeling emotions and your emotions have to show in your body, like it has to be showcased throughout, though it has to be expressed. That's the word I was looking for, right? When you experience emotions, your emotions have to be expressed through the body. So when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling powerless, when you're feeling depressed, right, you don't have any interest in doing anything. That's why you feel weak, you feel low energy, you don't have any interest to eat, you don't want to go out and do anything, right? Like that's because those are the emotions that you feel, and it's expressed through the body. So someone who's feeling all these negative emotions of worry, doubt, anxiety, concern, they were to experience that for an entire lifetime, then they can expect to experience negative events of being sick, of negative events being attracted to them, right? If you feel that you're not worthy or you feel you're not good enough, then you're probably not ever going to try. You're probably never going to go after anything or accomplish anything or make anything happen, right? Because you feel that you're not good enough, that you're not capable, right? So it ends up being almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And on the flip side, right, let's use the other example for someone who's happy, who felt so much positive emotion from the roller coaster, who has so much fun. They're able to maintain that same feeling from now for the remainder of their life, then they can expect a happy, positive life. Why? Because they're feeling all this happy emotion, and that emotion has to be expressed in the body. Usually when you're feeling happy and you're full of love and life, right, it just feels like a jolt of energy. It just feels like adrenaline is flowing through your system and you feel so good. And because you feel so good, you feel like you're full of energy. You want to go out and do things. You want to go out and embark on adventures. You want to spend time with friends and family. You want to go on trips. You want to create things. You want, right? And so you're seeing how someone who's full of energy experiences positive things. Well, they'll, if they maintain that energy, right, and they understand that events and experiences in life are from within, then when an event happens, they can tap into that positive energy, or they can understand that, I don't have to look at this bad. I can look at this as being a good thing and have this work in my favor. So now I can use that event as a good thing, as positive energy, as more fuel for me. And if I'm feeling good, then of course good things are happening. And with law of attraction, right, the energy you put out is the energy that you receive in return in the form of people, events, and circumstances, right? So you're effectively creating your life positively, right? Because you're feeling good. The effects of happiness over a long period of time has phenomenal health benefits, right? And I've seen it with my own two eyes. People who have experienced a lot of stress and had their health deteriorating because they weren't taking care of themselves. They were, dealing with a lot. When they were finally able to relax and take care of themselves and be happy and enjoy their free time, it was almost like their health completely transformed, that they became healthy over a short period of time, right? The health problem that they experienced pretty much evaporated because they were happy and they were feeling good and they were enjoying their lives. So you're seeing how all of this is connected, right? The experiences that happen in your life, well, the experience, like the events that happen just are, but it's how we interpret it. And so how we interpret it becomes our experience of what happened. And the experiences themselves are from within, because you can look for the positive, right? There's so many people who, before they try something new, they'll say, oh yeah, this isn't gonna work. It's never gonna work, right? If you go in with that mentality, then it almost ends up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy that it's not going to work, because you're gonna find reasons for it not to work. But if you approach something having a good feeling about it, saying, you know what, like, I feel good about this, things are gonna work out, things are gonna go well, then things will effectively work in your favor, because you're looking for the reasons for why it'll work. And then events will begin unfolding into your life to allow that to work out for you, right? So experiences in life are effectively our interpretations of the events. And you need to remember that an event can happen and people can go through the same event but have complete different interpretations of what happened. And because of that, you can also choose how you want to interpret something. Even if in the moment, right, it may appear to be negative, you can still take a deep breath and a step back and say, you know what? I think this is going to work in my favor. I think that this is actually a good thing, right? Because I understand that we have been conditioned to operate a certain way, right? Many of us have been conditioned for many decades to just react, right? And so that can typically be our first instinct, to just react when something happens. But you need to remember that you can make it a good experience. And it may take time for you to train yourself to like take a deep breath first, and rather than reacting, being able to respond. But it is in with your ability to respond that will effectively begin changing your life, because then you'll realize that things don't happen to you, they happen for you, they happen for your betterment, right? Even in the quote unquote bad events, you have an opportunity to reinvent yourself. You have an opportunity to, get better, to grow, to expand, right? Even in your shortcomings, there's always opportunity. There's always opportunity everywhere. Even in the position you're in right now, even if you may not think there's opportunity right here. So I just want this video to be an eye-opener for people out there, right? You don't have to accept things the way they are. You don't have to just go with however you immediately respond to something and have it be set in stone in your mind that is how that experience is. When events are not good or bad, they just are, and we can make the best at it, right? Someone can try a new food, right, and it can be a bad experience, right? Like they can taste the food, not like it, and spit it out. Well, even in that bad experience, that can end up still being good, because you learned about a new food and it's a new food that you didn't like, right? So now you know, okay, I'm not a fan of this food, but that's still a good thing because you learned something new about yourself. So how can it even be bad, right? This is what I mean. Experiences in life all happen within you. It doesn't happen outside of you. So be aware of your feelings, be aware of how you're, responding to life, not just reacting and responding to life. And even if you felt an immediate negative emotion when the event happened, you can still take a deep breath and still say, you know what, how can I find the good in it? Like, what is positive about this event? Because I promise you, you can find something positive. You can find something good in any event that happens. And an event that happens in your life that you think is bad or horrible, right? Someone else in this world will see that as a triumph, will see that as a great event, which is the same idea with the roller coaster, right? Someone can experience a roller coaster and think this is the worst experience in the world. This is horrendous. This is super scary. Meanwhile, that scary event can end up being someone's true joy, right? A roller coaster could end up being someone's truly favorite event or activity to do in the world, right? So hopefully this video puts things into perspective, that experiences, or basically how you interpret the events, are all within you, and that can always be changed, right? It doesn't have to be permanent. It doesn't have to be set in stone. Someone who may be fearful of roller coasters today may be able to overcome their fear and end up loving roller coasters in the future, right? So it's not permanent whatsoever. Because why? Because the experiences are within you, and you can always change that. You can always improve that. So hopefully this video leaves you with something more, and hopefully it helped open up a level of awareness that maybe you previously wasn't aware of. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. To leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road to a million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.